So we'll be collecting those up until November 7th and then going through all of them. So if you have any questions about the bingo card or prizes or anything like that, let me know. So in your child's pose, let your hips settle back on your heels, spread out your fingers nice and wide, and take an opportunity to just reset yourself. Back on your mat, down into your physical body where things are actually happening moment by moment. So take a deep breath in through your nose and fill yourself all the way up. Exhale everything out. 2 more like that. A full breath in and a big exhale out. 1 more. Fill up all the way. Exhale all the way. And start to build your Ujjayi breath right from the beginning of practice. A long inhale with a pause at the top and a long exhale with a pause at the bottom. Downward facing dog. Keep building your breath. You can move your body around any way you feel called to move it. Pedal out the feet, shake out your head, maybe take your stance longer or wider. And walk your feet up to your hands and hang in ragdoll. So press the 4 corners of both feet straight down into the mat and lift the pit of your belly up toward the ceiling. And maybe you want to sway side to side or shake out your head, yes and no. Start to wake things up. Everything from the neck down. Start to wake things up. Then press into your feet. Rise all the way up to standing. Reach through your fingertips. Bring your thumbs to heart center. Set your intention for practice. Pick one specific thing that you want to stay focused on. We'll send out those intentions with 3 ohms. Deep breath in. Inhale, reach up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine. High to low push-up, step back. Upward facing dog, open up your chest. Downward facing dog, press back. Take a full breath in together. Big exhale out. Breathe in, expand. Empty it out. Last one, fill up together. Push all the air back out. Look forward and move, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Extended mountain. Rise up. Root your feet into the floor. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Step or jump back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in together. Push the air back out. 2 more. Fill up. Big breath out. Good. 1 more together. Empty to the pit of your belly. Step or jump to the head of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold down. Extended mountain. Take a long inhale. All the way up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Get your fingertips straight down into the mat. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Big exhale. 2 more. Fill. Empty. Last one. Exhale completely. Step or jump forward. Halfway lift. Fold down. Extended mountain. A long inhale that goes all the way to your fingertips. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Keep building that breath pose by pose. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Empty it out. Full inhale. Big exhale. Last one. Exhale completely. Step or jump forward. Halfway lift. Fold down. 1 more sun A. Rise up to standing. Stretch up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths together. In. Exhale it out. Good. 2 more. In. Press your thumbs down on your exhale. Yes. 1 more. Empty completely. Move forward. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose for 1 breath. Sit back and reach. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior 1. You've got 1 breath. Step and rise up on the inhale. Chaturanga on your exhale. Upward facing. Downward facing. Left side warrior 1. Step through. Anchor your foot into the floor. Low push up. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Empty it out. Soften the backs of your knees. Good. Breath in. Big breath out. Last one. Empty completely. Look forward and move. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose. Sit back and lift your toes. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior 1. Step through on empty. Rise up on your inhale. Chaturanga on your exhale. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left side warrior 1. Step and stretch the sides of your body up. Low push up. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Empty it out. 2 more. Fill. Exhale. Last one. Empty it out. Move feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose. Sit deep. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior 1. Step through. Take a deeper lunge this time. Knee over ankle. Yes. Chaturanga. Hands to the mat. Big breath in up dog. Let it out and down dog. Left side warrior 1. Step and plug your big toe mounds down into the floor. Low push up. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Big exhale. Full inhale. Expand. Empty out. 1 more. Exhale completely. Jump to the head of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold down. Last sun B. Chair pose. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Down dog. Right side, warrior 1. Step through. Take your gaze all the way up between your fingers. Low push up. Gaze to the floor. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, warrior 1. Step through. Gaze all the way up. Stretch up. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in together. Clear it out. It can be a sigh if it needs to be. Breath in, breath out. Last one. Exhale completely. Take your right leg straight up and back. Bend your knee and open your hip. Stay 3-legged or flip your dog, your choice. Full connection. Nice transitions. Plug your feet into the floor and then stretch and expand the space across your chest. Yeah, maybe arm circles are there or a cactus arm is there to help squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back. Good. Then flip back over side plank. Keep those shoulder blades squeezed together on your back. Left hand straight up to the sky, and then you create the base however it needs to be. Knee on the ground, leg in the air. Everybody flex both of your ankles. Yes, spread your toes apart. Beautiful. You've got 1 more breath here. Reach up. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Send your left leg up to the sky. Bend your knee and open your hip. Stay or flip. And wherever you land, three-legged, flip dog, bring in a ton of breath here. You've already made a lot of space in your physical body going through the sun salutations. Invite the breath in here. Invite that stability from the feet into your core, out through your fingertips, then flip back over, side plank. And if you can't hear your neighbor breathing, breathe a little louder. Bring them back into the space. Nanette, at home, if you can't hear the breath filling the entire space where you're practicing, louder. Both ankles flexed. Wake up your toes. Nice, Tina. One more inhale. Reach, reach, reach. Chaturanga, hands to the mat. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take one breath in together. A full breath out. Right side crescent lunge. Step your right foot between your hands. Start with what's touching the floor and work your way up the pose. Both of the feet, full contact. The pit of the belly, in and up. And hands up to the ceiling. Come a little deeper into your lunging leg. Yeah, and then press your back thigh higher up toward the ceiling. So both legs, squeeze skin muscle to bone. Then hands to heart center, twist right. You can stick with palm to palm or open up your arms. That is up to you. Keep the back leg super active. Press it up to the ceiling. Nice. And then if things feel a little wobbly, you can always reconnect to your feet. Come back to what's touching the floor. Take one more breath together here. Stay for the whole exhale. Twist, twist, twist. Warrior two, unwind and face the opposite way. Come down deep into your warrior two legs. Front knee stacked right on top of your front ankle. And a couple of you can take even a longer stance, front to back. You can scoot your front foot further forward so you can come down deeper into the lunge. Extended side angle. Front elbow to front thigh or fingertips down by your front arch. Yeah, use the block, use the elbow. However you need to create the pose, get up to that. And then if there's a piece that you want to add on, like a bind or reaching both arms past the front edge of your mat, choose that and step into the full variation of the pose. Full expression of this extended side angle. For one more breath, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, crescent lunge. Step through and get yourself settled. All of the toes on the back foot straight down into the mat. So even the ball mound of the pinky toe straight into the floor. Hands up to the ceiling. How's your breathing? Yeah, get settled in it. Let your exhales sink your feet further down into your mat. Then hands to heart center, twist left. Palms stay together or open your arms. And big full breaths here. Lengthen on every inhale. Twist a little bit deeper with each and every exhale. Last breath in together. Fill all the way. Then twist the entire thing out. Warrior two, unwind. Up and around. If you need to adjust the front foot and get the front heel in line with the back arch, go ahead and make that adjustment. And then a nice deep lunge. Extended side angle. Create the base pose first. Elbow to thigh or fingertips by your arch, and then you choose how you're going to adjust the pose. Go for the bind if that's there. Go for a deeper lunge if that's there. Come right up to the edge of the pose. A space where you're not sure if you're going to be able to hold it for too much longer. Last breath, low push-up. Big breath in upward facing dog. Open up your chest. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in together. Exhale it out. Two more. Breathe in. Breath out. Last one. Exhale completely. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose and stay. Way back into it. Add the breath right away so the breath can help move the heat, the tapas from your legs all the way up and out through your fingertips. Hands to heart twist right. Spread your arms apart. You can have that bottom arm on the outside of your knee or in between your knees. You pick where the arm needs to go. Then get your hips lower than your heart. Some of you can sit a little deeper. Yes. Stay here for 5, 4, 3. Fingertips awake. 2, 1. Chair pose. Fold. Take your first 2 fingers around your big toes. You bend your knees as much as you need to. You can take your feet wider if you want, and then tailbone up to the ceiling. Let your head hang. Heavy head, long neck. Release your grip. Take crow pose from the head of your mat. We're going to take 2 crow poses this afternoon. So if you want to play around with jumping back to chaturanga or maybe taking side crow, you'll have the opportunity for that. Crow number 1. Set your gaze in front of your fingertips. Press the ground away like you're resisting gravity. You're going to lift your entire body up and away from the floor. Nice. 1 more breath wherever you are. Step or jump back. Low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take 1 breath in. A full exhale out. Step or jump. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose. Send your tailbone to the back edge of your mat, way down deep in your hips. Hands to heart center, twist left. Spread your arms apart. Bottom arm between the knees or on the outside of the knee, and then fingertips wide awake. Whether they're pressed together or palms are apart, the hands are part of your pose. Stay here and breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chair pose. Fold. Gorilla this time. Step on your palms, toes all the way up to your wrists. How's your breathing here? I know for me, breath usually gets away from me in the chair twist because it's not one of my favorite poses. Come back to it here in this fold. Take that steady rhythmic breath with you. Second set of crow pose. Go for it. If getting upside down from crow is in your practice and you want to put that in, put that in. Squeeze the inner edges of your feet together. Whether they're still touching the floor or they're up in space, hug into center line. The inner edges of the feet into center line. You've got 1 more inhale, step or jump, low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a big breath in together. Sigh it out. You can make more noise than that. Breathe in. Yeah, there you go. Last one. Clear it. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Rise all the way up to standing. Eagle pose, right side. Right arm under, right leg over. The balancing poses, the equanimity sequence is really your first opportunity to come up for air and come up to standing for a while. Set your gaze on one point. Get down into the center of your standing heel. Root it down into the floor. Left side eagle, left arm under, left leg over. See if you can go the entire series of equanimity poses with your gaze on one spot. And even if you do have to shift the gaze, great, make it on purpose so you're going straight from point A to point B. Add more breath. Right side eagle, second set. Eyes stay glued. Can you peel off the distraction of gaze shifting around as you're moving from pose to pose and make it really specific? And as you start to peel off the layers, all that extra stuff that we do, the shirt adjusting, the hair fixing, that I always take a sip of water in this pose, you get right down into the pose. Switch sides. in a way that's not possible when all those other things are happening, that I have to wipe my sweat every pose, I have to do this and this pose. Just get into the shape of the pose and see what happens. Standing leg raise, right side. Grab a hold of your right raised knee or your extended foot. I like to use a towel around the end of my foot because I get a better grip that way instead of grabbing a sweaty foot, but that's up to you. Stay right here in center, a tall spine. Everybody flex your lifted ankle. Yeah, and then wake up your toes. Keep the foot awake, open the knee to the right, reach and look left. This pose is definitely a hold your breath pose for a lot of people. Keep breathing here. Intentional and on purpose. Slow and steady, come back to center. Take airplane, press your right foot straight back behind you. Add more breath here in your airplane. Get as long as humanly possible out through the sole of your foot and out through the front of your chest. So you're pulling those 2 points apart from one another, the chest and the sole of the foot as far as they'll go. Keep that line. Half moon, open up. Bottom hand can go down to the floor, to a block, to the water bottle, however you need to set up the base. Then flex your lifted ankle a lot and lift that leg 2 inches higher to the ceiling. Nice, good adjustments. One more breath here. Reach both feet to the floor. Standing leg raise, left side. Grab the knee or the foot. And right away, gaze on one spot, a place on the floor, a place on the wall, maybe out the window. 1 point. Open the leg to the left. Reach and look right. Wake up your lifted foot, your lifted toes. Yeah, just right away. As soon as you notice that the feet or the hands are sleepy, not part of the pose, bring them back in. Come back to center, slow and steady. Take airplane, drive the foot straight back. Then back to that point-to-point stretch. The chest straight forward, past the front edge of your mat. Foot straight back, past the back edge of your mat. And you can help pull that line apart by lifting the front of your pelvis up to your belly button. Integrate the center of your body. Good. Half moon. Keep that intact and open up. Pit of the belly, in and up. You got it. And then to steer the balance of the pose, flex your lifted ankle and wake up the toes. Yeah, Nicole, there you go. Good adjustments. And maybe you get light on whatever's touching the block or the floor. One more inhale. Reach, reach, reach. Both feet to the floor. Standing bow or dancer's pose, right side. Soft crease of the elbow faces out for your standing bow. You can grab a strap or a towel for your dancer's pose. Go for it. It's the peak pose of the equanimity series, and there's a lot going on in a standing bow or a dancer's. There's balance, there's shoulder opening, there's a back bend, lots of different pieces. Stay focused with your gaze on one point, and then expand as much as you can, right out to the edges of your skin. Last breath here. Switch. Left side, standing bow or dancer. When the poses start to get super challenging or you're up in your head and overcomplicating the pose, get back into what's happening right now. What is your foot touching? Where are you looking? Just specific points. Last breath. Switch. Right side, second set. Take your pose. Where can you shift this pose to wake it up just a little bit more? Is it the lifted foot higher? Is it the standing knee a little softer? One little shift to make the pose awake for one more breath. Switch. Last one. Left side. Eyes on one spot. Go for it. Lean into it. Let it be more of a pose that expands and stretches as the pose goes on, breath by breath, rather than I'm in the pose. Okay, now it's the full expression. That's all I've got. Creep your way past the edge of it. One more breath. Both feet to the mat. Tree pose, right side. Hands start at heart center. Eyes on one spot. Any arm variation you want. Create your tree. Create a space where you can come back to center, where breath can come back to center, filling the space in the room and where you're practicing at home. Get the inner edge of your standing foot straight down into the mat. See if you can anchor it down as much as the outer edge. And switch sides, left side tree. Hands at your heart to start. Take your pose. Same arm variation or a different one. You create whatever it needs to be. A space where each part of your body is participating in the tree pose. There's a full body expression happening. Last inhale, lift up tall, both feet to the mat. Come up to the head of your mat if you're not there already. Extended mountain. Reach your hands up to the ceiling. Forward fold on your exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Chaturanga on the breath out. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side triangle. Step your right foot between your hands. Add the breath on here in the grounding poses. You can have a block on the outside of that front shin or just rest your hand on the shin. And start to expand out from the center of your body. So even though you've got that work of everything squeezing into center, your front ribs pulling into center, there's also the expansion out through your fingertips and your feet. Bring the breath into that equation. Big and full and purposeful all the way to the end of your practice. Press into your feet, rise all the way to standing. Side facing wide leg fold, turn both feet to face the long edge of your mat and hinge forward. We're going to work the fold this afternoon. So you've got two options. You can walk your hands back between your feet and stretch the crown of your head to the floor that way, or reach the arms out in front and stretch fingertips to tailbone. So whichever variation creates the most length in your spine, go for that. And then keep a little bit of softness in the backs of your knees. Yeah, and you can play around with how much softness you have in your knees. Like if it feels that you're in a space where you're stuck and you can't fold any deeper, add more bend to the knees. You've got more space somewhere else. You got to give something up a little bit to create something somewhere else in your body. So you give more space in one place to get more space somewhere else. Press into your feet, rise all the way up to standing. Namaste, front facing forward fold. Both feet face the front edge of your mat. Little baby warrior one stance. Then make sure they're at least hip width distance apart, if not a little wider. Yeah, good adjustments. Then take your bind behind your back, either hand to elbow or reverse namaste. Hinge forward. Keep adding the breath. If you can't hear your neighbor breathing, breathe loud enough that they remember and come back into their breathing. Loud enough that Nanette at home can hear you breathing and she can tap into the rhythm of the breath as well. Everybody soften your toes. Yeah, let the toes be soft and anchor down with the four corners of your feet. Twisting triangle. Left arm down, right arm straight out from the shoulder. Ring yourself out to the side of the room. Block is a super helpful tool in twisting triangle. I like using the block especially in this pose, so I've got room to stretch out my spine and then twist. You can stay here in twisting triangle or shift forward to twisting half moon and float your back leg up to the sky. You'll need to scoot the block or the hand a little further forward. Yeah, there you go, to float that leg up. Nice. Twisting half moons, flex your lifted ankle for one more breath. High low push up. Good work. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side triangle. Step your left foot between your hands. Create a big, wide base so you can expand out from the center of your body, just like a star. And then while you're working on that expansion, bring your attention to the lower side waist, the one that's closer towards the floor, and stretch it out. So you can do that in a couple of ways. You can pull your hip crease straight back, lengthen it that way. You can stretch the crown of your head forward and give more room for your side waist to stretch out. Nice, big full breaths. Press into your feet, rise all the way up to standing. Side facing wide leg fold, turn both feet to face the side, this time with a bind. Interlace your hands at your low back. You can put a towel between your hands, hinge forward. And know that if you always pick one thing, like you always clasp your hands or you always use the towel, you can alternate between the options because it'll stretch different things in your shoulders. So something to keep in mind. You might try on swaying the arm side to side to pull one shoulder and then pull the other one and stretch it out that way. Especially this time of year when things start to tighten up a little bit as the temperature drops. Release the hands down, rise all the way up to standing. Namaste front facing with a bind. Feet hip width distance or wider. When you've got more room with the hips apart, it makes it easier to square your hips to the front edge of the mat. Hinge forward. So if you hinge forward and it feels like I cannot get my hips square, take your feet a little wider left to right and try that on instead. Most of you can pull your left hip back 2 inches. Yes, good adjustments. Keep that left hip pulled back, twisting triangle, right arm down, left arm out. With the square hips and the long spine, you create as much space as you physically can so you can get as deep as possible into the twist. The more space in the spine, the bigger the twist. Then stay or twisting half moon if you took that on the other side. It takes the pit of the belly to pull in and up and help lift that back leg up toward the ceiling. One more breath wherever you are. Chaturanga. Big breath in up dog. Let it out in down dog. Take a full breath in together. Clear it out. Good. 2 more like that. In. Empty. 1 more. Push all the air back out. Roll out to a high plank. Shoulders stacked right on top of your wrists. Keep your knees off the floor. Lower them and keep the plank in the upper body. Lower all the way to the mat. As soon as you get there, locust pose. Reach your arms back by your hips. Palms face the floor so you can hug those shoulder blades together on your back. Yeah, rise up. Lift your chest, lift your shoulders, lift your feet, and then stretch point to point, out through the chest, out through the toes. Beautiful. 1 more inhale. Lower down. Rock your hips out left and right. Locust number 2. Hands can stay by your side or interlace them at your low back. Rise up. See if you can squeeze your inner thighs together instead of squeezing your butt cheeks together. Your legs will get longer and your low back will get broader if you use the inner thighs instead of the butt. 1 more inhale. Lower down. Hips side to side. Floor bow, number 1 of 2. Bend your knees and grab your ankles. Flex those ankles so your feet go straight up to the ceiling. Rise up and away from the floor. Bring that breath big and full into the front of your chest where your lungs can expand all the way to the edges of your ribs, then lower down. Take it side to side. Floor bow number 2. Grab the ankles, go up. Up and away from the mat. Let your legs drive the work of the pose so they can pull your shoulder blades onto the back side of your body. Last breath. Lower down. Take it side to side. Upward facing dog. Rise up off your mat. Collarbones broad and stretched out. Beautiful. Come onto your knees for camel pose. You can have your hands on your low back or slowly make them back to your heels, but start by lifting your chest up to the ceiling. Get nice and long, and then make your way back. Listen to the space that you've got in your low back here. If it feels like things are getting crowded because you're tipped too far back, then come up a little bit and find a sweet spot. Nice. How's your breathing here? Big and full, even though the throat is open, the front of the chest is open. And on your next inhale, rise up and out. Downward facing dog to reset. Super long spine in your down dog. Look between your hands, step or jump through to sit. Come into staff pose. And slowly lower your back to the mat for bridge. You got it. You've been building the momentum all practice to get to these peak back bends. Press down, rise up. Lift your hips. Lift your chest. Yeah, and then you've got the options with the hands. Clasp them beneath you or take cactus arms and press them down to the floor that way. Good. Big toe mounds plugged into the floor. Let the legs do the work of lifting your body up to the ceiling. One more inhale. Lower down. Knees side to side. All right, yogis, it's time for wheel pose. Your body's ready. Everything's warmed up. Wheel number 1. Tuck your fingertips under your shoulders. Press down. Rise up. Up and away from the floor. Fingertips and feet fully present. Tuck your chin and lower. Take a full breath in. Big exhale out. Number 2, bridge or wheel. Press, lift, go. No overthinking. No making the thing complicated. You just take the pose. Then come on down. Breathe in together. Full breath out. Number 3, press, lift, go. Keep coming to the pose again and again and see what there is to see. What's on the other side? Tuck your chin and lower. Breathe in. Breath out. Press and go. Bridge your wheel. Come up and away from the mat. Get your feet right on 12 o'clock and plug them in. Then tuck your chin and come down. Breath in. Breath out. Only 2 more. Bridge your wheel. Rise up. Number 5. Eyes set on one point. Breath moving in and out of your body. Make your way back to the floor. Breathe in together. Breath out together. Last one. Number 6. Press, lift, go. The biggest bridge, the biggest wheel, the fullest expression for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Yeah, if there's an exhale that needs to come out of your mouth or a sigh that needs to happen here, do that. What does your body need to get settled in Supta Baddha? And happy baby or dead bug, soles of the feet up to the sky. You can grab the edges of your feet or the backs of your thighs. Both are a good fit. Get your whole spine down on the mat. And legs straight up in the air. Set yourself up for scissor legs. Hands either underneath your hips or behind your head. Lower your right leg halfway to the mat. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, switch your legs. Good. Stay here. Breathe in. Exhale, switch. Breath in. Exhale, switch. Keep going with your own breath pace. Switch on the exhale so you can really anchor those abdominal muscles down to the floor, down into your mat. Keep going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs straight up. Hands can move to under your hips for more support if you need it. Lower both legs 30 degrees. Lower them 60. Lower to hover. Flutter kick your feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs straight up. Reset. Belly down and shoulders down. Lower both legs 30. Lower 60. Lower to hover. Open and close the legs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs straight up. You got it. Belly down, shoulders down. There's one more set. Lower 30. Lower 60. Lower to hover. Circles with your legs. Tiny circles. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs straight up. Knees into your chest. Those circles kill me every time. That's why I have to share it with you guys. Okay, abdominal twist. Hands behind your head. Elbow to opposite knee. Go for it. You can do just the upper part of your body or just the lower or a combination of both. Flex the ankles and spread your toes. Make them wide awake. Yeah, there you go. Keep going. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Keep breathing. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs into your chest. Rock forward and back 3 times. Come up into boat pose. Back and forth. And you can have hands on the backs of your thighs or arms out to the side. Big full boat. You got it. Feet awake and toes awake. Make them help you lift your body up and away from your mat. 2 more breaths together here. Deep inhale. Squeeze in on your exhale. Good, Serena. 1 more breath. Squeeze in on the exhale. Downward facing dog. Make your way there. Doing the work, yogis. Doing the work. Down dog to right side half pigeon. Bring your right knee to your right wrist. Then you decide how far forward you bring that front shin. Give your forehead a place to rest, whether that's on the floor, maybe it's on a block. Yeah, on your hands. Keep adding that breath back into your practice. Each time you notice that it's faded away, bring it back in. And then the more you work on that, it becomes muscle memory. It's easier to keep that rhythmic breath the entire practice. When you've got everyone else in the room practicing with you, at home practicing with you, even in the other studios practicing right now at the same time, that sense of community happens with breath. That sense of being in sync, of connecting, happens with breath. Few more breaths here in your half pigeon. Where can you create a little more space to settle deeper into the pose? Double pigeon. Swing the back leg around and stack shin on top of shin. Shin on top of shin as best you can. So maybe it'll look like your legs are crisscrossed. Could be that a knee is floating up in space. That's fine. Once you've got your legs situated, tall spine. Then you can stay sitting upright or you can fold forward to add the intensity to the stretch. If there's one thing that I learned about double pigeon, that it's not that it's better if you're folding forward, you're just increasing intensity. So if you're more flexible, go ahead and add on. And if you're less flexible, cool, you do less work and stay upright and still get the same stretch. Deep breathing right here. Purposeful, intentional breathing. Down dog, shake it out. Left side half pigeon, left knee to left wrist. Line up that left thigh parallel with the edge of your mat, and then you decide on the placement of the shin. Put your attention back on your breathing and let that help you create the pose. The little micro adjustments you need to do, great. Make those adjustments. Oftentimes when we come into a pose and it's held for a longer period of time, there's that initial being settled in the pose. You're like, yep, got it, cool. And then a few breaths in, you're like, nope, don't got it, need to move around. Do that. And then come back to stillness. Can you make your inhales and exhales longer here? More intentional, as if you're going to use the breath to scoop out that extra stuff that's not serving you and flush it out of your system. What don't you need? What can you clear out? Double pigeon, opposite shin on top. Stack the shins, get the feet situated, and then get both of your sit bones straight into the floor. Those bony points in your butt straight down. It's common in this pose for one to kind of be hiked up a little bit. Root it back down. Then if you need to fold forward, do that. Or stay upright with a tall spine. Last hip opener. We'll do seated wide leg fold instead of frog pose. So just let your legs come out as wide as it feels comfortable. Toes pointed straight up to the ceiling. A little bit of softness to the backs of your knees. And then fold right down the center. The muscles around your hip joints and in the backs of your thighs, really all of your muscles, are smart. So if you try and force yourself into a deeper stretch, they'll lock up to save and protect. Protect you pulling a muscle, protect you straining a joint. So when you go slow into it and breathe into it, more stretch is possible and deeper space is possible. Press out through the center of both heels. Press them away from your body. Keep your legs as they are. Rise up, sit up tall. Seated single leg extension. Fold over your right leg. Yeah, and you can keep the one leg out or bring the foot in towards your thigh. Both are a good fit. Then melt over your leg. Tap into the tightest point on your body. It could be the outside of your hip, might be a lower corner of your back. Breathe into that space. Switch sides, left leg out, right heel in. These last few seated folds are the opportunity to create release in the backside of your body. So it's less about forcing yourself in half and more about where can I relax to create a deeper stretch along the back line of my body? Where can you send your breath to stretch out that back line of your body. Seated forward fold, both legs straight out. Fold over your legs. Have a little bit of bend to your knees, a little or a lot, really, so that you can melt the top half of your body over the lower half. Then tabletop or reverse plank. Plant your palms behind your hips. Fingertips face the front edge of your mat so your elbows have the chance to fold backwards. Rise up. Tabletops, you've got bent knees. Planks, long straight legs. Press into the edges of your palms to stretch the muscles across the front of your shoulders. Good. One more breath here. Lower down. Fish pose. Just a few breaths for fish. So you can tuck a block between your shoulders or just tuck your hands underneath you so that you can lower the top of your head down to the mat. It could take tucking the hands as far as underneath the backs of your thighs to make that work. On purpose with your feet and your toes. Make them do something on purpose. Yeah, good adjustments. They can be flexed, toes can be pointed. Lots of different options, but it's a choice on purpose. Take one last breath together. Fill yourself all the way. Big exhale through your mouth. Push the air out. Come down onto your back. Let's get upside down. Any inversion you want to take. There's waterfall, shoulder stand, or any variation of headstand or handstand. All on the table. Whatever inversion you take, know that you're taking the right one. Know that you've got all of your tools, your breath, your gaze, the heat, all working together to create just the inversion you need. Headstands and handstands. You've got another breath or two, and then child's pose for a reset. Shoulder stands, take plow. If you're in waterfall and want to join in for plow, go right ahead. Plow to deaf yogi. Bend your knees, hug them around the sides of your head. Round your spine towards the front edge of the mat. Let your spine have a C shape to it. And slowly bring your body back to the mat, piece by piece, bone by bone. Ooh, I love the slow. Yeah, nice and slow. When you get there, knees into your chest. Give them a squeeze. Supine twist to the right. Drop your knees one way, twist and look the opposite. Then you can add a little bit of stretch to the IT band on the outside of your leg by straightening the top leg. Supine twist, opposite way. Ring out, look over your shoulder. Supta Baddha Konasana, one last time. Press the soles of the feet to touch, knees open wide. You've got a cold eye towel by the upper corner of your mat if you'd like to put that on now instead of waiting for Shavasana. Shavasana, legs long out, arms down by your side. Take up some space. Let your bones get heavy down on the floor. And take one last breath in together. Fill yourself up and up and up. Exhale it out. Let your entire body rest easy on your mat. Deepen your breath. Bring some movement back into your hands and your feet. And plant your feet on the floor and rock onto your right side. And with your eyes still closed, press down and rise up. Take a comfortable seat. Inhale, reach your hands overhead. Exhale, thumbs to heart center. We'll finish our practice together with 3 final ohms. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath in. Exhale it out. Thumb knuckles to forehead center. Thank you all so much coming into the studio, signing in virtually, and making your practice happen today. Namaste. Good work, everybody. All right, eye towels can go in the basket just outside the studio doors. If anyone has any questions about stuff we've got coming up, like Himalayans in December, and we've got space for that, and the workshops that are coming up at the end of this month, there's 3 of them in 1 week. I'd love to talk about them, and hopefully I will see you on Friday at 4 p.m.